Good evening, chat. Hello. Welcome. It's Friday night. We are going to do a little bit of a different thing here. This one's actually one that happened in my area, and I was kind of like on the fence about it. But a lot of you guys have been asking me to cover this and talk about it, and I will. I'm gonna be careful about what I say. And you'll understand why, because one of the things is I go to this courthouse, so we're going to talk about it, but once again, I'm going to be probably a little, I don't know. You could call it cucked or whatever, but it's where I go. So it's a pool I'm in. You're going to have to deal with it. Yeah, I'm wearing the grandpa sweater. It's really cold tonight. So, yeah. Uncivil law. Kurt, how you doing? Friend of the show, Kurt says, judge said no to a plea. That was always a good time. Well, I think there's multiple reasons why the judge ended up refusing the plea deal. And that, well, actually, there's not multiple reasons, but I can see a big reason why it happened, and we're gonna get to it. But before we get started, guys, this is Unhung Hero for $2 says one spider in the mail for every minute late, fat man. Amateur Iconoclast, yes. 07's in the chat for Jim Lovell, Cleveland's own. Passed away today at 97 years of age. The only man to fly out to the moon twice and never to get set foot on it. And that's actually something there, you guys. If you didn't know that, obviously he flew out on Apollo 13 and they got aborted. But he was also the command module pilot on Apollo 8. So like Michael Collins was the command module pilot on Apollo 11. That time, Jim Lovell, Apollo 8, they didn't do anything except practice and gain data. And then he never got his chance to go back out. But yes, he was the, guy who saved Apollo 13, led those guys back. And yeah. Yep. 07's in the chat for a real one. 07's in the chat. I think he's the last survivor of Apollo 13. And then Unhung Hero for 10 subs. And EDW Raptor for 10 subs. That's right, chat. Big frickin' support out there tonight. Remember, guys, just get you. Two big awoos tonight. Two big awoos. Did Gary Sinise die? Yeah. Funny. Yes. Support. Yes. Thank you guys for that. Thank you for showing up. I appreciate that. I appreciate that very, very much. Dolly, you are here. Hey, Dolly, how are you doing, man? Hope you're doing well. Looks like there's a bunch of people here. But anyways, yes, he got cucked by the moon. The moon cuck. That sucks. But yes, Captain Lovell, rip out there to a real one. All right, guys, before we get too far, got another thing for 2.0. Sunday, the big day after all. So let's see what this one is. What is this? It's two things in here. Texture contour. Okay. So it's like self-adhesive decor film. We'll try see what this stuff is at some point here. Then this is interesting. I like this a lot. This will be fun because we could put this into a setting here. A World War I trench line, which you're like, oh, that can't be too much to it. You're right. There's not too much to it, but that's about weathering and contouring and texturing. That's actually going to be difficult. What is not easy to do? Thank you, sweetheart. She's not paying attention right now, chat. That's okay. That's okay, chat. She doesn't have to. Oh, that's okay. I said thank you, sweetheart. All right, guys. So it is. It's a professional cuck. Thank you, David. Yes, a 2.0 said 40 gifts from 40th birthday. Yes. Digital Void says, glad you liked your spider box. You didn't say, but did the egg survive the trip intact? It looks like it. Yes. Yes. God, that thing was that thing was not prepared for that. So yeah. Thank you though. But yes, if there were eggs, I told you I'll light this motherfucking house on fire. I am not afraid. I am not afraid, chat. I am not afraid at all. All right, so let's get started. This is the story of Hannah Freeman. Hannah is a teacher in the suburbs of Cleveland here. And that suburb, it's on the west side of Cleveland. And she is a teacher in North Ridgeville, Ohio. And North Ridgeville, Ohio is over on the west side of town. Actually, kind of like the last town-ish when you're dealing with this is kind of all Cleveland. This is the Cleveland kind of like, actually, the map is better. So you got Cleveland. Oh, whoa, that got all weird. So you got Cleveland right here. Then you have like Lakewood, Rocky River. Then you have Westlake and North Olmsted. And then you have North Ridgeville. This is kind of like roughly like the edge of Cleveland for most people. When you talk about the edge of Cleveland, like there are other places like this town, Elyria, Sheffield, Lorraine. Those are all technically like towns that are like, it's all kind of one big sprawling thing. But really, this is kind of the cutoff point when you do this, because you enter a different county. And really, it's actually more like right here's the cutoff point because it's a county line right there. So anyway, that's what we're talking about. We're like, this lady, all this stuff happens on the other side of town from me. It's about 45 minutes away. And primarily, she lives and works in North Ridgeville, and she has a boyfriend who lives and works in Westlake. Not very far away at all. But that's where our story takes us, to Verona So Fair. Frosted Chaos, has you ever been there? Yeah, I thought power living too much. I grew up out that way. I grew up in the county that North Ridgeville's in. I grew up in Lorain County, Ohio. So that's my hold on here. So this county right here, this is where I grew up. Lorain County. Yes, it has stair steps on it. That's the county I grew up in. So not too far away from, like I said, it's right where I grew up. So I know exactly where all this is. So hope that answers your question. Now from here, Hannah was in a relationship with somebody and they broke up. Well, things kind of spiraled from there, and Long Crime actually covered this when it happened, like the body cam.
Hannah Freeman.
So here is this woman. Just look at her, listen to her, and we'll kind of get going from there. So here we go. This'll be it. This will be interesting if you haven't seen this before.
Hannah Freeman.
Hannah Freeman, are you supposed to be up here?
Mm-hmm.
You are? Mm-hmm. Were you in his vehicle earlier?
Mm-hmm.
A breakup gone wrong goes to the next level when an Ohio teacher is taken away to jail.
Step over here.
Putting it down.
Do me a favor, turn around, put your hands behind your back. You don't got anything on you? It's going to stick, choke, anything like that?
No.
27-year-old Hannah Freeman was arrested earlier this month after her ex-boyfriend called police on her for a reason straight out of a movie. On November 6th, Westlake police...
Yes, because she was stalking and she just wouldn't leave it alone. She is cray. When you see the pictures of her, I mean, she cray. She's got the crazy look in her eyes. And they come and talk to her. And just listen to how she responds.
Police the day before she stole a number of items from him after tracking him down.
Did you invite her here?
No.
Are you sure?
No. Yeah, she...
So notice they asked, did you invite her here? And he says no. And we're going to bring that up because that kind of comes into the epilogue of her story.
Are you sure you didn't invite her here?
Yes, I never invited her to anything.
'Cause she said that you invited her here.
Yeah, I know. She probably would say that. She actually yesterday followed me to my apartment, stole stuff out of my car.
Yeah.
Medications that I need.
Notice they said she stole medications.
My car keys, which I was finally able to get back from her, a laptop, and my wallet. And she has run up a bunch of charges on one of my credit cards now.
Oh, she did?
Yeah, and then she, because I did date her back in April, we probably ended it.
Notice he talks April, they ended, it's November now.
She kind of knew passwords to like my accounts and stuff.
Where did
She's been messing with my accounts.
where did she rack up the charges at?
That was all from Amazon.
And that was just the beginning. So when police responded to his job, Freeman wasn't very far away. Freeman even followed him to his job at a local middle school. So when police went to the parking lot, who was there? None other than Hannah Freeman herself.
Hannah Freeman.
Hannah Freeman, are you supposed to be up here?
Mm-hmm.
You are? Were you in his vehicle earlier?
Mm-hmm.
But when asked why she was there, Freeman told police a different story.
Well, we went to get dinner together, but
You guys, where'd you go get dinner at?
Kings.
King's?
Kings, yeah.
Raising Cane's? Which one?
North Olmsted.
North Olmsted? Okay. Well, we got a complaint from him that you were in his vehicle tonight and you're harassing him and stalking him.
I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
Okay. Did you take some items from him last night?
But the officer wasn't buying it.
Your phone in the car?
I am. I'm putting it down. I'm putting it down.
Step over it.
Putting it down.
Just gonna turn around, put your hands behind your back. You don't got anything on you? It's gonna stick choke, anything like that?
No.
So anyways, she got arrested. And that's where we kind of start off from. And we're going to go a little bit into this chat, a little more in depth. So what did she get? She got indicted for all of this. So what did she get indicted for? Well, she got indicted for quite a few things. And this is where it starts for her. This is where it starts for her. Yeah, is she trying to flirt with the cops? I think so. Is she the type to poke holes in a condom? I could see that happening. She sounds like the type. Yes, I think so. Yes, her dad is the chief of police. Yes. Yeah. So anyway, here's what happened. So Hannah Freeman got charged with a couple of things. She got charged with and indicted for menacing by stalking, a 4th-degree felony. Now, you might think, oh, well, what does that mean? Well, you could face up to 18 months in prison for a 4th-degree felony. For a 4th-degree felony, you can face up to 18 months in prison. This is when you actually, and this is where we have it, engaging in a pattern of conduct that did knowingly cause her boyfriend to believe that Hannah Freeman would cause physical harm to him or a household family member. Further, she trespassed on the land or premises where he lives, was employed, or attends school. So she's already facing possibly 6 to 18 months. Now, she has no record, so she'd probably get probation. But this starts racking up very, very fast. This starts racking up very fast. I didn't redact this info. This was redacted in the indictment. I wouldn't have redacted it. She also got charged with, and this is a lot, but I'll explain to you. Trespass in a habitation when a person is present or likely to be present. Another 4th-degree felony, 6 to 18 months. This is a crime of violence because trespass at habitation. You might say, wow, Sean, that sounds a lot like burglary. It is. It's a subset of the burglary statute. She did, by force, stealth, or deception, trespass on a permanent or temporary habitation of any person when any person other than an accomplice of the offender was present or likely to be present. So it's kind of like a lighter version of burglary. But it's serious. It's another 6 to 18 months she's looking at. Theft is a 5th-degree felony. That's 6 to 12 months. Once again, she has no record, so there'd be a presumption for probation. She did deprive her boyfriend of a credit card. Stealing credit card, automatically a felony. Automatically a felony in Ohio. Most places it's going to be a felony. Stealing checks, automatically a felony. So there you go. Stolen property is a credit card. Identity fraud, another F5. Another 6 to 12 months she would be looking at. So without the implied consent, she possessed personal identifying information with the intent to represent their identifying information as her own. So yeah, if you fucked around with a Google account, somebody's Google, Drive and their Google stuff here in Ohio, and you had access to their payments and things like that, you get charged with identity fraud, depending on what you did with it. She then got charged with theft of drugs. And this one's another F4. So that's another 6 to 18 months she's facing. She stole from him Wellbutrin. And it's the property stolen is any dangerous drug. She also got charged with misdemeanor theft. That's 0 to 180 days. That's 0 to 180 days. So she stole 2 backpacks from her boyfriend or ex-boyfriend. And that's what she was facing. It's a lot of stuff, huh, guys? Pretty fucking serious, huh? Pretty fucking serious. Well, there was a resolution to the case. Ended up happening for her, she got a smoking hot deal. Wellbutrin is a dangerous drug under Ohio law. It is. It's the definition of a dangerous drug is a little different here in Ohio because a lot of things count as a dangerous drug. Basically, you get a prescription for it. It's a dangerous drug. Now, oh wait, damn it, that one closed out. I got to pull it back up, Chad. Hold on here. But anyway, that's what she was facing. Facing a lot of serious criminal charges. Like, these are no joke. Think about it. Just start adding up all that time. It's really bad. It's really bad. It's no joke. It is no joke. So she retained an attorney, and the court case went on. This all happened back at the end of the year, November, December, when she got indicted. And then in June, she ended up entering a plea. She entered a plea, and what they ended up doing, and this is what you can do when you're a prosecutor. I think that there were certainly some issues with her case, probably. But I also think, speaking to the victim, they wanted to resolve it. And I just think in the interest of justice, they came up with it. So they amended all the charges here. So what did she end up pleading out to? So she ended up pleading out to a couple things. She ended up entering a guilty plea. You're like, okay, that's all right. Makes sense. So what did she end up pleading to? Well, it was amended to disorderly conduct as a minor misdemeanor. Count 2. Remember, count 1. Count 1 was menacing by stalking. She went from a 4th-degree felony to a minor misdemeanor. And just so you guys understand what that means, she is doing pretty good because the way it works here in Ohio, you have the felonies, and they're listed out as like an F1 is the worst. You have an F2. You have an F3. You have an F4. And you have an F5. Okay? And then you get to the misdemeanor side, because the next step down from there are misdemeanors. You have an M1. You have an M2. You have an M3. You have an M4. And then you have a minor misdemeanor. So she actually did pretty good. She went from here all the way down to here. And that's pretty good. That's pretty good, you guys. That's pretty good. So what does a minor misdemeanor mean in Ohio? Well, for a minor misdemeanor, you face a maximum of a $150 fine. That's all. That's all she's facing for that one. A fine of up to $150. Now, what happened here? Well, I'm betting also the victim's like, I just want to be done. I don't want to fucking come to court anymore. So I'm sure they got rid of it. Jim says they're all over 364 days. Well, these are the felonies in Ohio are a little different. So an F1's 3 to 11 years. 3 to 11 years. An F2 is 2 to 8. An F3 is 9 months to 36 months. So basically an F3 you could face up to 3 years. An F4 is 6 to 18 months. Then an F5 is 6 to 12 months. So that's what those are. This is up to 180 days for an M1. An M2 is up to 90 days. An M3 is up to 60 days. An M4 is up to 30 days. So that's kind of how we do stuff here in Ohio. Jim says, yes, you can get a felony without a year in jail. Yes. Well, technically under federal law, an F5 in Ohio does not count as a disabling felony. So you could plea out to forgery in Ohio, which is a 5th degree felony, and be convicted of it. And you're not disabled under federal law as a felon because its only maximum penalty is 12 months, and 12 months is not greater than a year. So that's how you get away with that. That's how it works. Otto says, could you get her that deal? I'm sure a lot of that was problems with the prosecutor's case. I'd like to think so. But I know this attorney worked his fucking ass off for it. But yeah, I'm sure the problems were there, and I'm sure the victim wanted it to be done. So ultimately, that's what happened there. So anyways, that's the scale of what we're looking at. So if we're in misdemeanor territory, she's doing pretty fucking good, okay? So keep that in mind. Here's the chart of what she's like the scale. All right. So now what is she looking at otherwise? Well, she's got other counts. She ended up pleading out to obstructing official business as a 2nd degree misdemeanor. And then count 3, and what was count 2 again, chat? Count 2 was trespassing in a habitation. So that intermediate burglary. They pled out to obstructing. And then count 3, if we remember, count 3 was felony theft, stealing the credit card. Well, what did she plea out to? She pleaded out to possessing criminal tools as a 1st degree misdemeanor. So she's facing on this one, if you figure out her total scope of liability, because in Ohio, misdemeanors can be stacked up. They can be stacked up. Theoretically, judges could do up to 2 years on it, but I've never seen that happen. So I've seen like 180 days get stacked up total. But so for count 1, she's facing no days in jail. Count 2 is 90. And then count 3 is 180. So she's facing 270 days in jail maximum. All right. Now, what happened here? The rest of that. So she retracted a plea of guilty and entered plea of, they retract all her pleas here. So this is just going through all of this that she did. Disorderly conduct is amended. Obstructing official business is charged. And then, as it was charged, she pled out to possessing criminal tools. The rest of the counts are nullied, meaning nulli prosequi, they got dismissed. The court accepted her guilty plea, which they have to do. She was referred to the probation department for a pre-sentence investigation report. Now, remember, chat, what does that mean? Well, remember, the pre-sentence investigation report is where, and we talked about this, is a critical part of what you have to do. You have to sit, because remember, when the judge gets your case, he's just got a folder with some paperwork in it saying you did something. doesn't know anything about you, doesn't know your medical history, your family history. He has no idea about the events that led you up to this thing happening. And the pre-sentence investigation report is your way of dealing with it and explaining things. Shredder says, who is she? She's the stalker teacher. Well, you're going to have to go back and watch. I'm not running back through it. So it's your opportunity to explain things to the court. Now, you'll tell them about your family history and all those things, but you're also going to have to discuss the offense. And I tell my clients, don't put your spin on it. Don't sugarcoat it. Don't bullshit them. Because that gets noticed. You also don't tell them, because when you're talking to them, they're a probation officer, and you're like, I've had clients where I go, yeah, I'm just pleading out because I don't want to fucking deal with this. I think it's all bullshit. You know what that probation officer's doing, guys, when they're doing it? Writing it all down. And that shows up in the PSI at the end of the day. So don't ever do that. Answer things truthfully. You got to own up to it at that point. Well, from there, we get to the sentencing. And the sentencing is where things start to happen. And things go a little sideways. And before we get to that point, I do want to show you where we're going to. We're going to a unique little place. Well, not really a unique little place, but we are going to beautiful Cleveland, Ohio. We're going down to, and it's actually kind of nice the way it's set up. We are going down to the Court of Common Pleas. Court of Common Pleas is where felony matters are addressed in Ohio. And it's really neat because this is right here, the Cuyahoga County Court of Common Pleas. And it's a big, tall building at the north edge of town. And the neat part is when you walk out, this part right here, it's a big brick thing right here. And when you walk out, you are literally, if you guys may have seen this before in the Avengers movies. This part of things were filmed there. They filmed all over downtown. This is the Court of Common Pleas right here. All 23 floors. Funnily enough, right here, this is the fucking jail. So you just get whoop and you get carried along. So that is where you go. Now you come down these stairs right here. You come down these stairs and you can right here. And when you look over, I will also say if you can get parking over here, you feel like you won the lottery because it is a pain in the ass. But it's kind of nice because when you come out, you're literally right next to the Brown Stadium. So it's kind of cool in that way. When you walk out. And when you're up on the higher floors, you can actually you can see in the stadium and see throughout downtown. But anyways, that is where we are. This is the scene. This is the scene of where we're at. Yes, Maddie B is right. Send a birthday message at potentiallycriminal.com/birthday. So I will we'll play Clyde at the end here. So she is in court and she's in front of Judge Jack Montaya. You guys may have seen this judge before for other things he's done that I've gotten him on YouTube. But overall, he's a very fair judge. I know some people may not like him. I don't think he's a bad judge at all. I mean, he's pretty reasonable. But anyways, here we go. Here's her sentencing, and look at her. She's already got the crazy eyes. So here we go.
Okay, let's go on the record. We're here on State versus Hannah Freeman. Ms. Freeman is here on case 697-119. She's here with her lawyer, Michael Kinlan. Assistant County Prosecutor Patrick White is here for Brandon Patel, who is in trial in another courtroom. Ms. Freeman pled guilty back in June to disorderly conduct, a minor misdemeanor in count 1, obstructing official business, a second-degree misdemeanor in count 2, and possessing criminal tools, a first-degree misdemeanor in count 3. She was referred for a pre-sentence investigation, which the court has received and reviewed. PSI is extremely detailed. Counsel, have you read the PSI?
Yes, I have.
Yes, Your Honor.
You find it to be complete and accurate?
I do, Your Honor.
I find to be complete, some of the police report was not accurate, hence the reason for the amended charges.
In what way?
We provided text that showed that the alleged victim had lied about the stalking and so many other issues.
Well, what part of this document is not accurate?
Just where it relates.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, okay, maybe some facts were not true, but you're still entering a plea to some facts. So, also, Chat, I will just tell you, when you come into a courtroom and they have the deputy sitting up there, that's usually kind of a hint someone's going to fucking jail. You're not going to have a good time. So, at least in Ohio. Although in Cleveland, there's always deputies in the courtrooms. But in some of the more relaxed courts, there aren't deputies just hanging out. Unless someone's going away.
Pardon me?
Just where it relates to the police report.
I don't understand what you're telling me. There's 4 single-space type pages that looks to be largely taken from the police report. Are you telling me the entire PSI is inaccurate?
No, just where the alleged victim told the officers that she was stalking.
Well,
They were still engaged in a relationship at the time. She had planned on spending the night at his house that night with his permission. It's not much.
How about the flock camera part on the bottom of page 2, where flock camera plate readers showed your client's vehicle to be on Westlake City School properties 33 times on 19 different days over the past 30 days, up to and including November 7th at 4:07 p.m.
That is accurate.
Okay.
He had invited her there. She was there.
He invited her to school
Yes.
30 times.
Yes.
Mr. White, do you know anything about this?
Your Honor, what the state could say at this time is that the defendant, on occasions over this period, did in fact invite the the victim did invite the defendant, but the state will contend that the defendant was there and her continual presence across this time did cause the defendant continual anguish and mental stress.
Is there a dispute?
so notice they're pointing out, okay, like they are pointing out though, like I said, there's some reasons why they can drop it down. Some of that is he doesn't want to fuck around with it, and some of it he's just like, prosecutor's like, yeah, look, it kind of looks like they weren't fucking, she's a crazy bitch and he's trying to handle her and it kind of makes it look bad. So that's where we are.
Dispute over whether she took his property?
No, Your Honor.
No, there's no dispute over that, Your Honor.
So why didn't your office have her plead to theft? I know this wasn't your case, and
This isn't a new prosecutor. It's not his case. That's why he's a little rough on this one. It's not his case. So he's a little like shaky with the facts. But, when I was a prosecutor, if you had to cover something that's not your case, you're not 100% on it because you don't know it as well. But yeah, the judge brings a great point. Well, if you guys agree she stole, why didn't we give her a theft charge? Prosecutorial discretion.
and I'm here dealing with the confusion. What happened?
Your Honor, in this case, the defendant and the victim were engaged in a relationship. They broke up over the pursuing months. The defendant did not get the.
And chat, it all depends where you're at. In Ohio, you don't have to stand. Like, not every judge needs you to stand. Okay? A lot of courts I'm in, the judge is like, yeah, whatever, stay the fuck down. Like, you don't have pompous cunts like Bev Canoni, like, you'll stand for me, Mr. Jackson. But some judges want you to stand. I know most prosecutors' offices, you're just told stand anyway, because that's just what you do. But I don't remember exactly with Judge Mattia, you have to stand, but I think I generally stand when I talk anyway, just because if you stand anyway, you'll never fuck up when, you'll never be sitting down when you should be standing up.
Did not get the realization this relationship was
Ginger.
over. At different times, she did steal numerous items from the victim in this case. Our office reviewed that. We did see those actions more as a continual pattern of conduct in order to get the victim back into her life.
Is that accurate?
And not including our.
And we can tell me stand in this county, Mr. Kelly.
Yes, Your Honor. It's our opinion, and the facts would have shown if we would have went to a trial. She did take his book bag for about 3 minutes. She tried to return it. She only took it once she found it on the girl at his apartment. She was on her way to spend the night there that night. They agreed on it. She went over there, and then he texted her, told her not to come, and she realized he had nothing to do there. She got mad, went in this car, took the book bag, only as a means to get him to talk to her, and then she tried to return the book bag 5 minutes later, and that's when he called the police.
Okay, I'm led to believe by the pre-sentence investigation that this relationship between the alleged victim and Ms. Freeman ended in April of 2024. Is that correct?
That is not correct. It ended on November 6th.
Darlene, she wasn't found not guilty. This didn't go to trial. She was not found not guilty. She was just found not, like, they just amended the charges. Now, what happens and what seals the deal for her is her comments in the PSI, and we're going to get to that. But the judge doesn't know, like, he's not in charge of the case, so he has to figure out what happened and why it played out the way it did. He's allowed to ask these questions. He's allowed to ask these questions to figure out what went on. That's part of the reason why they can accept or reject a plea.
2000. And that's why if you review the discovery that I provided, the text detail everything. And that's why we had negotiated plea with the charges that we have and that she pled guilty to.
Okay, the pre-sentence investigation indicates that your client took 2 backpacks, a red and a black backpack containing a Chromebook laptop computer, an HP laptop computer, is the victim's
We're going to get
wallet,
to the PSI. Don't worry, darling.
and a set of car keys to his car, apartment, and work school. Is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
I haven't seen any of these text messages. You haven't filed a sentencing brief or memorandum.
Well, they were in the discovery that I filed, the defendant's discovery.
Okay, but the judge doesn't get your discovery. And this is the thing. The judge is like, you talking about all this shit. I've never seen it. And he's like, well, I filed discovery. Yes, you provided discovery to the prosecutor, but he doesn't get to see it. When discovery goes out, you file a notice that I've provided discovery. You don't publish all the discovery in the docket. You just say, look, we're adding this. Here's a notice of supplemental discovery. Here's a notice of discovery. We're submitting other thing. And you can list the things, but you never include it. And the judge is like, I don't have what you're talking about. So he said, I don't know what you're talking about. And that's a fair point. Like, you're talking about these text messages. I've never seen them.
Okay, Mr. White, what would the state like to present? Is there anything else?
Thank you, Your Honor. I will say for the record, the state is in compliance with Marcy's law in this matter. Your Honor, obviously this was a difficult situation. This was a toxic relationship. Over the period from April to November, this defendant engaged in conduct that was disturbing and concerning. And there's a state believes there's a heightened concern because she was employed as a teacher at the time. We understand that the victim in this case did at points re-engage with the defendant over these months. But the state is comfortable with this plea offer after extensive conversations with and pretrial meetings with the defense counsel, because Ms. Freeman, and it's our opinion, has mental health issues that need to be addressed. I think that's evident from the PSI. I think that's evident from the facts in this case.
Yes, it's clear she
We
needs
do
mental health.
understand that she has taken steps to do that.
She's
As
fucking
part
crazy.
of the plea, we did make it a condition for supervision in the form of community control, continued mental health treatment, and that is what we'll ask for at this time, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Kinlan, what would you like to do?
And at the end of the day, chat, that is correct. This lady really needs mental health treatment. That's the biggest thing here. But notice the one thing that the judge pointed out: you didn't fill out a sentencing memorandum. And remember, we talked about this before. A sentencing memorandum is where you get to argue points of law and in-depth things to give the judge a pre-argument, basically a preview of your argument before you come in for sentencing. And it doesn't sound like he did it in this case, which sounds like it probably may have been a good idea. But here we go.
Court to be aware of.
She's 27 years old. She has a master's degree. She was previously employed as a fourth grade teacher. She lost that job as a result of this incident. She's got no other record other than a noise complaint from several years ago. This is a negotiated plea based upon the facts and based also upon the negotiation that did with the county prosecutor's office. I believe it's a fair resolution. You're not going to see her back again. Just for the rest, she was at the school numerous times helping him with his classwork. There was a principal who was contacted, also listed in discovery, who I had subpoenaed in this case going to trial, who would testify to that fact, that he talked to the victim and the victim told him no, she was there helping him. So there was no stalking in that regard. But she did take his book bag in a heat of passion. She did when she found out he was still seeing this other girl when she was supposed to be over there that night. She wasn't thinking and did so in an emotional state. She is in mental health counseling. She regrets this incident, and I don't think you see her back here now. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Freeman, you have the opportunity to speak before we announce your sentence. What would you like me to know?
And chat, this is what you do. My client is educated. She can, she lost, she's already suffered, Judge. She lost her job. It's probably going to be hard for her to get in there. Like, when you get fired as a teacher, you're, in Ohio at least, you're kind of screwed. Like, you are really, 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 really screwed. Were there captions? Oh, I could turn them on. We could go back a little bit, you guys. Here, if you want to hear it again. But it basically says, my client has an education, she has no record, this was certainly a mental health issue. That's all you have to say here. Sometimes shorter is better. And this is one of those times where brevity is the best option.
I believe it's a fair resolution. You're not going to see her back again. Just for the rest, she was at the school numerous times helping him with his classwork. There was a principal who was contacted also.
There you go. I hope that helps. So you guys say you can't hear it.
Testify to that fact that he talked to the victim and the victim told him no, she was there helping him. So there was no stalking in that regard. But she did take his book bag in a heat of passion. She did when she found out he was still seeing this other girl when she was supposed to be over there that night. She wasn't thinking and did so in a
The agreed upon sentence is for her to get placed on community control, which is called probation. The prosecution and the state are both recommending probation for her. And she has this misdemeanor jail time hanging over her head. That's all they were asking for.
Emotional state. She is in mental health counseling. She regrets this incident, and I don't think you see her back here now. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Freeman, you have the opportunity to speak before we announce your sentence. What would you like me to know?
I regret the incident. I definitely acted out of emotion, and I regret that.
I hate that it freezes.
Like?
I hate this freezes up because I've seen this where she acted. You could tell she's crazy.
Me to know?
I regret the incident. I definitely acted out of emotion, and I regret that decision that I made that night. And I will take steps necessary to move on from this incident, and you will not see me back here again.
Okay, thank you. court has considered this matter. This is frankly a bizarre breakup between two professionals. The pre-sentence investigation does not paint a pretty picture of your behavior, Ms. Freeman. You should have known that was over. It's my understanding that the victim had someone else in his life. I'm going to place you on 18 months of community control. You'll be ordered to have no contact with Mr. McKenzie.
And that's the thing, guys. At some point, you could say, oh, well, this wasn't admitted, that wasn't admitted. She didn't plead to it. She stole his shit because she couldn't fucking let go. She couldn't just say, I'm done. And judges, like, with people like this, they don't tolerate this kind of nonsense. That's a very tough sell. And I'm sure in her PSI, we don't really get into it that much here, but I'm sure her PSI wasn't very good. I think just like Nick, she probably crapped the bed when it came time to give her interview. Nick, I thought he was going to get 2 months. He got 5 years. Well, I'm sure she didn't help herself. But listen to the judge explain the rest of what's going on here.
Victim, in this case, is the condition of community control. You are to wear a GPS device for the first 90 days. You'll be on house arrest with work release. You'll be ordered to undergo mental health counseling, particularly to establish healthy boundaries. And you will serve the first 7 days of this term of probation in our county jail. You are ordered remanded.
We had agreed sentence.
You didn't agree with me, Mr. Kinlan, and I am charged with sentencing.
At this point, you are going to make a motion to withdraw the plea. Would rather go to trial.
Because you don't like the sentence?
No.
And remember, guys, the judge is never bound by your plea. Now, in some states, you might get them to agree, and they're locked in. At the federal court level, that can happen. In Ohio, there's no such thing. The judge, when you sign a plea form, when you sign your plea agreement, it says, I acknowledge the judge can do whatever he wants. He is not bound by what I may sign. That is entirely within the judge's authority to do as he wishes. Now, how does this work from here? Well, he's asking, I want to withdraw our plea. Well, why? Because now she's been sentenced. You could generally withdraw a plea permissibly up to sentencing. Once it starts, the window to withdraw your plea closes. It's closed now. But notice the attorney tries to say, well, we'll go to trial. Which, I don't know if she's agreed to that or not. That seems like, because that's ultimately Hannah's decision. But let's see here. Let's keep watching.
You agreed sentence.
You didn't agree with me, Mr. Kinlan, and I am charged with sentencing.
At this point, you are going to make a motion to withdraw the plea. Would rather go to trial.
Because you don't like the sentence?
No, because you don't like the way the court is interpreted.
Okay, you guys, yes, he has holy shit, chat. Yes, Nick has a suspended sentence. It's not 5 years. He got 5 years of probation. I thought he would get 2. He got 5. And I chalked that up to the fact that Nick probably talked like a dickhead at his probation sentencing. You guys, don't worry about it. Nick's not going to prison. Don't pamper tampers, okay? Like, it's all suspended. Don't worry about it. Just let's focus on this thing. Okay? Let's focus on this one. We're talking about the term of his probation. I thought it'd be 2 years. He ended up getting 5. But anyways, notice his attorney saying, we don't like the way the court interpreted the facts. Like, okay. She sounds like she stole shit because she's a fucking psychopath.
Mr. Kinlan, did you talk to me about sentence before you pled your client?
You're not available, Your Honor.
Now, here's the thing. When it comes to figuring things out with the judge, how does this work? The judge is not going to tell you, like, he's never going to sign off ahead of time like it's a contract. But what'll happen is the judge would say, hey, guys, what are you guys looking at? Hey, judge, we have a plea offer. We have a resolution. You know what the judges normally do at that point? They're like, okay, hey, tell me what this is. Tell me what the plea deal is. And you tell them. You say, hey, judge, we're working on a plea deal. We're going to amend the felonies to misdemeanors, and we're going to propose community control, no jail time. And you tell the judge what you want to do, because the judge, while he said he's not going to sign off on it, he'll tell you ahead of time, like, yeah, it's okay. Or sometimes the judge will tell you in their chambers at a pretrial, or you come in like a week or two before a plea hearing. He'll say, no, I'm not accepting that. I will not accept this offer. Or at the very least, if there is a plea hearing and you haven't had a chance to talk to him ahead of time and say, Your Honor, we have reached a resolution, you tell them proposed plea deal. I've had this happen before where the judge looks at you and says, no, I am not accepting that. Come back with something different. Because the judge does not think that's a valid or fair plea. You know, they don't agree with the terms. They don't think that's enough of a punishment. It happens doesn't happen all the time, but you know, it happens every once in a while. Like every couple of years I've had that happen. And I've seen that there too. Chinny's saying, who provides a recommendation for sentencing? Who provides a recommendation for sentencing? The prosecution and the defense attorneys, yeah, their recommendation is probation. Ultimately, it's the judge's decision, though. Are they obligated in any way to let you know they won't accept? No. But here's the thing. If judges don't accept plea deals, that kind of blows everything up in the world. Because then word gets out that judges don't accept the plea deals. All right. Now, Judge Mattia, he's, just like any judge, he's gone outside of a plea deal before, but you generally know it's coming. But he doesn't have to do that. But if you don't talk to him ahead of time, you're not going to know what's going to happen. So this is more of an issue. They didn't seek out knowledge ahead of time, because the judge. I've had cases before where we've worked out like misdemeanors before, and judges like, I'm sending them to jail. They should be prepared. Like, counsel, your client should be prepared to go to jail. And that's a hint that you're going to go to jail. So you tell your client ahead of time, man, you're going to take this plea. You're probably going to go to jail. You're probably going to get 10, 15 days. And you're going to have to deal with it. Should the prosecutor and defense have scheduled something with the judge beforehand? Yes, they should have, to find out what's going to happen here. I mean, you're taking some pretty serious, like, they're low-level felonies, but they're still serious ones, and you're turning them into low-level misdemeanors. Like, that's pretty, yeah, I'd argue it's kind of important. Especially with these kind of facts, you probably should. Snow Caddish is saying her attorney should have warned her there's a possibility the judge could toss a deal. Oh, well, she did. When she does a plea deal, she has to sign off and acknowledge the judge can do whatever he wants. He's not bound by the terms of the agreement. So she already knew that. But anyway, she got 7 days. And I know some of you guys thinking, oh, it's 7 days, no big deal. Have you ever done 7 days in jail? I wouldn't want to do 7 minutes in jail. So saying it's 7 days, I'm not going to say that that's no big deal there, chat. And no, some of you guys were wondering about the microphone. Channel 8, Fox 8 is the local news affiliate down there. But anyways, here we go.
You pled your client?
You're not available, Your Honor.
I'm available all the time, Mr. Kinlan. You chose to plead your sentence, your client.
We only met with you one time, Your Honor. At this point, we'd ask to withdraw.
I'm offended that you would make the insinuation here that I don't work enough.
I'm not making that insinuation.
When was this case indicted?
December.
Yeah, half a year ago. Did you make any effort to talk to me in the last 6 months about how I would sentence your client?
Yes.
No.
We did.
You did? When?
When I asked you to take her off GPS back in April.
Okay, and I did.
Yes.
But that wasn't about sentencing, was it? I just asked you, did you make any effort to talk to me about what sentence I would impose after you negotiated a plea deal with the state of Ohio?
No, we did have an agreed sentence with the state, and asked the court to go along with the agreed sentence.
You didn't ask me. Sorry.
And that's the point. Whatever me and the prosecutor agree to, the judge kind of needs to know. I mean, you're never going to get to the point of, if I know the judge isn't going to accept it and we spring it on them, we'll force them to accept it. No, because they won't. That's not going to work. This is where you should go. You should clear that out. If you can't make it in, like this guy's in the next county over, then you set up a phone conference. You set up something where you could talk. If you're here for a pretrial for another case, you say, hey, judge, can I have 10 minutes? I'm here on another case. Can we talk about this real quick? Like, that's the easiest thing you can do to find out what the judge is thinking. You take their temperature.
Please not knowingly voluntarily.
Your bad practice is not my problem.
I don't think it's my bad practice.
We're done.
Now, you guys might laugh at her, but she's some lily white girl going to jail. I'm sure this is the first time she's ever felt acute consequences in her life. So, yes, people like to laugh at her for the way she reacted, but I'm sure this is the first time she's had problems. No, this isn't malpractice. This isn't malpractice. This isn't ineffective assistance of counsel. I mean, had he talked to the judge, would that have changed the outcome? No. The judge probably was going to say, no matter what, she's probably going to get jail time. So, Matt, you're saying, though, the judge didn't have to argue. Well, the defense attorney started arguing with the judge. Like, he's not going to, you're not, if you haven't done anything wrong, why would you sit there and let somebody treat you like shit like that? The judge has every right, just like an attorney has every right to say, no, judge, that's not correct. The judge has the right to say, no, counsel, that's not correct. So, but yeah, there's no malpractice. There's none of that. Her lawyer didn't fuck her over. She fucked herself over. Guys, because here's the deal. No matter what you worked out, he's probably giving her jail time because she probably said him like a fucking asshole in her PSI. And I'm sure the judge looked at this and said, this woman needs to understand a consequence in her life. Because I doubt she's ever had any. I doubt she's ever had any consequences. Yeah, most men tolerate her nonsense. Yes. So, I'm sure a lot of that is that wing tat's kind of sick, yeah. So it's just life. Two Scoops saying, so the only way to force the judge's hand is by working the plea, so the things you plead to can't support more than what you get. Well, I mean, at some point, the judge won't accept the plea offer. Amending the charges down could be difficult, but yeah, I mean, that's one way to doing it. Would you have prepped her better for this contingency if you were your client? I tell everybody, be prepared. You're not going to walk out of here today. If you've got kids, make sure somebody can watch them. Be prepared. You may have to call your job and say you're not going in tomorrow because you're in jail. I would tell every client, be prepared to go to jail. I have a 99%, like I can give you 99%, like, you're not going to jail, but I can't promise you 100%. So yes, I tell my clients it's going to be 100% there. Snow Caddish, we're going to get to that. All right. So anyways, here we go. Just listen to her if you want to.
Listen, hold on.
So there you go. She disappears behind the doors. And it's kind of nice because the courtroom's there. It's like part of the wall. If you haven't noticed, when they're talking, like the door is part of the wall. It's actually kind of nice in all the courtrooms. Kind of cool thing that they do. So they did handcuff her. Well, yeah, because she's not like, like they don't need to. So, yeah. Can she get her attorney in trouble for not taking it to a jury trial? No. I mean, did she want him to do that? I mean, it's too late. Once the judge sentences you, you're done. Once you're sentenced, that's it. It's game over. Game over. I mean, you can sit there and bitch and moan and piss and shit your pants, but once you accept the sentence, once sentence is handed down, you're done. Now, what happened from here? Well, so this is just real quick. We're going to go over this real quick just so you guys can see it in its actual form. This is a little different than other places do it in the area, but it's just very formulaic. This is the journal entry for her sentencing. And what happens here? Her lawyer rolled a D20. Yeah. Well, like I said, I don't know what he could have done there to fix it. So they talk about anyway, she had pled guilty to obstructing official business, guilty to disorderly conduct, and guilty of possessing criminal tools as a misdemeanor, and misdemeanor. So they decided that it is now ordered in a judge that the defendant is sentenced to the Cuyahoga County Jail for a term of 180 days. The execution of the sentence is suspended. She has 18 months of probation on each count. Although I think if you really had to make an argument, I don't think you can get 18 months of probation on a minor misdemeanor because you only face a $150 fine. So I think legally, as an operation of law, she can't be put on probation for a minor misdemeanor. But the other two, she can be on, misdemeanor probation in Ohio could be up to 5 years. So that's not an issue. She's ordered to report to the probation department. She's abide by the rules and regulations. She has no contact with the victims. She's under regular terms and conditions of probation. And she's to serve the first 7 days in custody at the jail, followed by 4 months of house arrest with work release. Then she has to go mental health counseling. And she is ordered to pay cash or perform community service work in lieu of paying court costs and paying fees. So she got the Nick treatment. I don't care if you could pay for it. You're going to have to go work. So this was done here. All motions not ruled prior are moot. The defendant is remanded to custody. Signed, Judge Mattia. Okay. Now from here, real quick, chat. As Snowcattish had told you, there's some epilogue to this real quick. The defendant's request for jail time credit. So this motion was filed by her attorney and was served on the prosecutor. And through the undersigned counsel, they hereby request the court grant her for credit for 1 day in jail she's already served pursuant to the revised code. That's our state laws. Okay, you're like, huh. And then the next, and then what happened, chat? Here we go. 7/21/2025. The motion for jail time credit filed, defendant's request for jail time credit filed is granted. So notice what he wanted to do. And that, granted for 1 day in jail that she's already served. Well, there you go. There you go. So, no, she got 180 days suspended, chat. 180 days. Remember, guys, look. The execution of sentence is suspended. Execution of sentence. Suspendanitos. El suspendo. Los el suspender. Right here, chat. Suspended. It's suspended. It's hanging over her head. It's hanging over her head, but she has to serve 7 days right off the rip. So, I'm assuming she can't teach anymore. I mean, when you get fired, it kind of ruins your reputation and the way it works in the teaching system. So she's kind of fucked. But I'm sure her reputation will precede her. Was the judge punishing the lawyer? No. He just saw this woman doing shit, and like, I guarantee you, no. Hannah Freeman was acting out of, like, she needed to, like, understand there are rules. This is all about the defendant. I'm sure he felt necessary to buck break her. She had to be housebroken, and she refused to deal with it. So, yes. The suspended sentence is the teeth of probation. Yes. Those 180 days are hanging over her head from now on. Now, what happened, though? She got out. She got out. She didn't have to do a full 7 days. So there you go. It's like, well, joke's on us, right? She only had to do a couple of days. And then what happened from there? Well, there's some interesting things that have happened. She requested to travel out of state for a previously scheduled vacation with her family to Hilton Head, South Carolina. The court granted it. She was allowed to leave. And then on the 23rd, the court orders the defendant to be released from home detention. So remember, she had to do, and she had all that time she was supposed to do on house arrest. Well, that never happened. Judge Mattia released her from home detention. The 4 months of house arrest. Nope, done. Already done. The court orders the defendant be released from home detention, 7/23. So there you go. So yeah, I think it's ultimately, it made her think about it. And sometimes that's the big thing. She has to understand. And now it finally got through to her. Now, what happened after that? Well, this was filed by her attorney. I have actually not read this part. This was the thing that I had not gotten to yet. This is supplemental notice of exculpatory portion of police report that was omitted from the PSI. And this was submitted by her attorney. This is on 7/21, and she was sentenced on 7/17. So a couple days later, and the 17th was a Thursday. This is submitted on a Monday. So he's saying that there was exculpatory parts of the report that were omitted from the PSI. A copy of the Westlake police report is attached. The victim advised his boss, the high school principal, the defendant was his girlfriend, and she was permitted to be there. This contradicts the statements to the police and makes the flock camera evidence irrelevant, as she was there at his request. So that's what he was trying to argue. So this is an excerpt from a police report. This is from a police report here, and here is what they're arguing about. So the officer says he spoke with the superintendent. They asked him about rumors that I've heard about. And notice they have the names in here. Mackenzie having a female in his classroom after hours. I had suspicions this female may have been Hannah Freeman. Dr. Gogan had to check with the administrators. He indicated that it was true. They expressed concern that Mackenzie had a female in his classroom after hours. The staff indicated they felt uncomfortable entering the classroom or completing their cleaning due to the female being there alone with Mackenzie. They asked to tell the teacher quit doing it. So they said the principal of the high school, Rob Woods, had a conversation with Mackenzie. Once again, we're now knowing the victim's name. During his evaluation about concerns with the custodial staff. Mackenzie explained that the female he had in the classroom was a teacher at North Ridgeville. Mackenzie said he had her at the school to help him with his work. Specifically, this is the principal recounting this. He said he was a new teacher and the friend had more experience being a teacher and was therefore helping him with lesson plans and other planning. The superintendent believed the principal explained that getting help was fine, but for him to be aware of the hours of the day he was in the classroom with her. And they assume it's Hannah Freeman. They assume it is her. They say accordingly, Mackenzie told the high school administrators that this female was his girlfriend. Dr. Gogan said that his knowledge, Mackenzie never indicated to anyone as an administration he was being harassed by anyone, let alone Freeman. Which, this is funny because if I had this, I would have printed out like a unredacted or unmarked copy. But this is certainly out of his things here, and it says not included in PSI. By email to custodial staff regarding Hannah Freeman. So they say the superintendent went on to explain he was also where Mackenzie was seen in a Westlake City school with Freeman during volleyball season. They asked the superintendent about the time of this, and he indicated it was in September, October. They also indicated that they would review surveillance stuff. So, yeah, I mean, some of this looks like it panned out correctly. And this was served on the 21st day of July, 2025. So that is their way of trying to say, but wait, Judge, we got it right. You got it wrong. And it's like, it's not going to go the way you think it's going to go. It's not going to go the way you think it's going to go. So should she have gone to trial? No, she was going to lose. Yeah, was the guy embarrassed? Sure, maybe he was, maybe he wasn't. Maybe he thought he could fix her. We don't know. We don't know because we never got to that part. But once again, this is reasons why the things got downgraded. But it does sound like Hannah Freeman needed some jail time to understand there are fucking rules and you're not allowed to fuck around. But yes, guess what now she's not going to do? She's not going to fuck around. Now she understands there's real, super real consequences for her action. So guess what? Hopefully she straightens up and flies right. So, yeah. The moral of the story is to look both ways before you cross the street. Yes. They both seemed toxic. I'm sure they were. Her actions would have looked insane to a jury. Sure, they would have. But remember, the jury might also say, we don't think this is right for us to be involved. So she's safe to date now. Is that it? They fixed her all the way? I don't know, man. I don't know about that, Dolly. You're brave if you're doing that. Oh. The lesson plan was about his wiener. Oh, no. Beverly Flores, been a member for 6 months, says, I just finished the Michelle Troconis trial. Oh, my God. You voluntarily went through that. We went through that hell. And now you've joined it. You've been through it with us. I hope you like the judge. I thought the judge did a very good job. But yes, Michelle, when she talked about poor Hennifer disappear. Ay. Poor Hennifer. Oh, that was so funny. But anyway, it's good to see you, Bev. Beverly, 6 months. Thank you for being here. Jefferson Post says, she looks like she kind of liked those handcuffs. I bet she did. Obscure destinations outdoors. Ron, I actually got an email for you. I put together some stuff for you. When I worked at the prison, inmates often said they took the deal because going to trial was 20 more years or tacked on, and the lawyers are expensive. Yeah, those are always part of the calculus, even if you're not guilty. Can you afford to risk getting convicted? Like, do you want to go to prison for 25 years? Can you afford it? Pachito Clyde says, send my daddy presents here, P.O. Box 716, Willoughby, Ohio, 44096. Don't forget to include peens for me. Yes, and that's Clyde in his little mariachi outfit. Clyde the Troubadour. Yes, Eric Rodriguez for $2 says, enjoy jail, stalker child. Yes, she can't go to prison, though, because she's only got misdemeanor convictions. But she can go to jail, stalker child. Yes, suspended sentence to the teeth. Johan is saying she's going to learn nothing from this. Maybe. It's no Kaddish as trials where discovery becomes known. There was no trial. Yes, but in a sentencing memorandum, you can introduce exhibits and you can introduce pieces of evidence. There's some limits to it, but you can introduce a lot of things in a sentencing memorandum. And I've done that before. So, as a prosecutor, as a defense attorney. So, it is entirely within the realm of possibilities. Have I ever had a stalker ex-girlfriend? No. No, I have not. Let me see here. What else is there? Peen chat with Clyde. Yeah, well, that'd be a great one. Oh. If she lands in another situation like this will be all on her. Oh, the other one's all on her too. Can J-Rock fix her? I don't know, man. She maybe. If there was a law mandating the government pays the fees of anyone they prosecute and fail to convict, would you support it? Well, that's what happens when you fail to convict somebody. The government pays court costs. So, like, if you go to trial and there's like $10,000 in court costs and you get found not guilty, it's not yours to pay. You only pay if you're guilty, if you end up being convicted. So, it already kind of works that way. Shredder S 07 gifting 10 subs, chat. 10 subs. Just taking care of those grays out there. You can't run, grays. You can't run. You can't hide. No, I think this judge did it the right way. He did nothing wrong here. If I was the judge, I would have sent her ass to jail. She needs to fucking learn. You still pay for your lawyer. Well, that's true, yes. More so you're thinking of attorney's fees. Well, yeah, that'd be a lot of fun. Let's see here. Where else we got? I mean, at the end of the day, it is sad. People going to jail is never good. Do I think she needed some tough love? Sure. But for her, like, listening to that woman, that's true terror in her voice. She's never been in that situation where she's been told no, and she's never faced acute consequences. And it's really rough that she's 27. She's turning 27, and that's the first time that's happening to her. Yeah, that's going to be terrifying. That's going to just knock her world off kilter. I feel bad for that people like that. They've never had that tough love. They've never had what the rest of us have for, upbringings. She got away with always being the cute little perky white girl, so she probably got away with a lot. Yeah, it sucks if that's what happened to her. And now she finally had to face a consequence like that. That's not something I'd want her to. You can sit here and go, Safa and all that. Yeah, great. But at the end of the day, somebody's going to jail. And when you're defending people, they don't walk out the door with you, absent it being like a mandatory jail thing, you kind of feel like you failed. Especially on misdemeanors. I mean, but I will say the attorney did a great job. He got those misdemeanors, those felonies, serious felonies, knocked down to misdemeanors. And he dug through the evidence. He dug all the contradictions out. And the prosecutor pretty much agreed. It looks like they had to just go a lot of back and forth. So, yeah, I mean, that's a good resolution, but it still sucks. It still sucks, though. She ended up going to jail in that regard. Yeah. Not her nickname being Perky Tits. Well, oh. But no, like I said, I'm not sitting here and saying that it's do I think it's probably what she needed? Yeah, she definitely needed it. Can she own a gun? Yeah, she only got convicted of misdemeanors. She got convicted of misdemeanors. Misdemeanors don't prohibit you unless it's domestic violence, and she didn't get convicted of that. So she has not lost any rights. No rights have been lost. No rights have been lost, and that's your story. That's your story, chat. Well, not while on probation, yes. But as soon as her probation's over, she can go do whatever the hell she wants. Nobody can stop her. Take her gun rights away, or we'll see her on court TV. She has the right to be a prosecutee. Aw, so funny. Oh my gosh, some of you people. So, all right, chat. Well, with that said, we are all done here. We're gonna wrap this up. We're gonna land this plane, but first we got to go over to potentiallycriminal.com. We're gonna do a little sandwich stacking here. We gotta do a little sandwich stacking. We're gonna do some sandwich stacking here. We're gonna see what we can do about getting Clyde. Making some sandwiches with Clyde, because that's what it really comes down to, chat. Before we paint some models, we are going to do some sandwich stacking. So there we did I get all this right? Zaphael is saying, I hate to disagree, but some states do make misdemeanor offenses ineligible. Some states do, but in Ohio, she's perfectly fine. It has not changed it in Ohio. If it's somewhere else, maybe, but for Ohio, no, she's not lost any of her rights. So, is that really your picture? It looks nice. No, this is an AI picture. These are AI. That's not me. Those are not me. Those are AI. Those are entirely AI. So let's switch over to this, though. Do a little camera stack. Ooh, that's a little. Oh, it's loud tonight in my ears. There we go. We'll do it like that. Clyde's got a husky hat on. It's the same thing. Look at this chat. Look at that. We're on fire. Pop. Baldo. We're getting them all. We're getting it all, chat. Look at us go. Look at us go. This is better than the Mega Man marathon. But Phil can't hang with this. His hands would hurt. He couldn't catch all the goo. He wouldn't be able to help Clyde get all the goo. Look at Clyde getting all the goo. So Aaron can't get any of it late. Aaron's on the floor. No goo for Aaron, chat. No goo for Aaron. Because there's so many things out there far apart. But it makes it fun. We're late and gay, chat. Oh no. Noise. Game score 69. Cat says I just lost the game. Hello, Cat. Guys, Cat over on her channel is covering the Nicholas Patsosis trial. Doug Weinstein from the YSL trial is trying that. So I know that's been getting pretty interesting. Give her a look if you want to see a good trial going on. Ella says, they're not this game! Yes, they are. Yes, they are. They're the same to me. The tuba helps with timing. Oh. So. Oh, no. But yes, Clyde is a furry in that situation. I don't know if I like it, but I guess. Is this on Steam yet? You got to ask Maddie. Once again, guys, all thanks to Maddie. Thank you again, Maddie. How is this the one thing louder than me? I don't know. Chad, but it's loud for me. All right. Well, guys, we're going to actually get ready. We're going to head over to the model stream. We're going to do some painting tonight because we got some time to do it. I think it'll be fun to do some painting. So I'm going to go ahead and set that up real quick. And we're going to have to do some airbrushing because we've got all the artillery cannon to work on. It's time to get that painted up in some olive drab. So we're going to get that going here real quick. So there we're going to do this. What time is it? 10:49. We'll do 10:55 p.m. on the 8th. And dude, where is? Oh, hold on, chat. I don't know where it's at. Where the hell did it go? Where the hell did it go? There we go. All right, it's all set up. We're gonna go there. We're gonna hang out, have a fun time. It'll take you an hour to get there. Actually, I'm gonna be ready to go. Yes, you're gonna hear the compressor. Remember to turn off the stream when you take your headphones off. Am I not going over? No, I did not see the TRO win, but I'll probably save that for tomorrow because there's a lot to do there. But we'll save that for tomorrow. I'm a little tired, so we're just gonna do that. I actually didn't sleep last night really at all, so it kind of sucked. So I am exhausted. So we're gonna probably have an early night tonight. All right, chat. So sandwich compressor, stop. That is it for us tonight. Tomorrow we are going to go over the Texas lawsuit. I think it'll be a lot of fun. But chat, with that said, let's land the plane. And yeah, also as Mandy said, go to potentiallycriminal.com/birthday and send a happy birthday message if you'd like. With that said, chat, thank you guys all for being here. I appreciate your time. Hope you liked this one. Hope you liked a little bit of a real world breakdown on one that, you know, like nobody else has really looked at. And it's one I can speak to a little more authoritatively than just in generalities. So, chat, I will see you guys over on the Model channel. And remember, until next time, just because you did it does not mean you're guilty unless you are Hannah Freeman. Then it is enjoy jail, stalker, child. Enjoy jail. Oh, Vodka Blood says, member for 20 months. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Vodka Blood. For the support says, wait, when is your actual birthday? My actual birthday, chat, is August 10th, Sunday. So if you weren't sure, if you're doing the math, here I can help you do the math on that one. It is my birthday in 1 day, 1 hour, 7 minutes, and 9 seconds. Although I was born at night. I was born on the evening of the 10th. So that's my birthday. But yes, thank you for 20 months of support, man. I appreciate it. You sent me the Corey Mills stuff. Yes, you did. We'll be going through that too. That's some interesting stuff. 40 subs and 40 super chats on Sunday. I'm not probably going to go live Sunday, guys, because I'm going to be spending time with the family. So you're going to be on your own for that one. And I'll be eating choo-choo train cake. All right, chat. Well, I got to get the other stream set up. I will see you guys later. Take care, everybody. Take care. Oh.
Weapons, blacksmithing, and models of planes, esoteric works, and even some trains. Much merriment had while drinking White Claws, tips on hunting, and even talking the law. Whatever you do, just don't talk to cops, even when they nab you on illegal stops. Just 'cause you did it doesn't mean you're guilty, but please talk to a local attorney.